MR.KOA.
We need to talk.
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 Welcome back to Wntt TV. It is 2020. I'm your host, Mr. KOA, alongside
Top Boy.
And we're another decade started, another year of our progression started. Changes. Some things are the same, some things are better. You gotta change everything in the new year.
I know.
You don't gotta change everything. Like people feel like it's like, oh, new year, I gotta just flip my life.
Yeah.
It's like,
New
hey,
year, new me.
you're doing some good things. Like if you're doing some good things, just kind of let it trickle over.
Yeah, don't fix what's not broken.
If it ain't broken,
If it ain't broken,
if
don't
you're
fix
making
it.
money, keep making money. Don't just quit your job because it's a new year if you can't handle that, you know? And don't just get a job if you can't handle it either. And don't just have a baby if you can't handle a baby, and so on and so forth. But it was a good year. 2019 was a very good year. Like every year, there's ups and downs. There's, laughter and tears. There's, pain and success. But I think that balance is what kind of keeps you, continually learning. I feel like if the whole year was just really good, it wouldn't really prepare you for, the downsides. Obviously, there's going to be ups, highs, and lows. But I think that balance of you might have some really good months and some really sad months, but just the continually moving forward and keeping yourself on a positive trajectory, I think is very important to appreciate about every single year. I don't really believe in, I have resolutions. I don't think they're New Year resolutions, but I do believe that, it's good to believe in something.
Yeah.
And I feel like the concept of New Year resolutions is a good thing. Like the idea of like, okay, it's a new year, you can start fresh, even though there's still things that are trailing from the year into the next year. I think the concept or the belief that you can start fresh, I think kind of helps just the psyche and just your productivity. Even if like we're so often living in the past of things and like, we drag so much baggage into everything, relationships, friendships, jobs, whatever. So the New Year resolution, or New Year, New Me, all that, I think allowing your brain to just refresh, even though things aren't necessarily changing. Yeah. I think if you can change your mindset to feel that way and act differently, that I think it's a good thing.
I think, we always joke about how if you want to just make a change, you shouldn't wait till a certain time, wait till the year. But to your point, it's good having a marker to say, you know what, it's a new year, it's a new decade, which is kind of big when you think about it. And I'm going to use this opportunity to basically better myself in whatever way that looks like. Right. So if January 1st came around and you said to yourself, I'm going to treat this month like sober January. Because I've seen people doing that too, where they're just like, you know what, I'm not going to drink all for the January and see if it rolls over into the next month and month after that. Like, all kudos to you. Some people just need that push. Other people can just make that change whenever they want to. But there's no problem with, waiting for the date. It's just as long as you stay consistent, I think that's the main thing, It's easy for everyone to just say, I'm a change, but can you stay consistent? That's the big thing.
I think it's, this year, it just started, but I feel like an interesting dynamic. It might sound like I'm just saying whatever, but this year does feel different. I don't know why. Maybe it's the combination of madness happening in this world, like currently, like the fires, the war stuff, like the, endangered this, like just so much things are happening that, like to the nth degree. Like it wasn't the year that did it, but like a lot of things are really happening right now that it's kind of scary. It is scary in a sense, but I think it's also some type of lesson or some type of sign for people to like get whatever it is, get on it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Not that, you need to wait for bad things to happen to do that, but I feel like, because so many things are like happening, there's so much intensity around everything right now. It's like, if anything crazy is about to happen, like if you continue to wait this year, this year will really show you like how bad things can get. You know what I mean? Like it's just like the stuff in Australia is madness. Like,
yeah, I think you know, the best way to put what you're saying is like you can feel the tension.
Yeah.
Even though things might be going well in your life right now, it's like you see these things happen around the world, like all these events that are happening. Australia is pretty much, the majority of it's on fire.
the whole country.
The whole country, yeah, a large portion of the country is on fire because of just like through natural disasters. And it's something that, in all honesty, like I don't watch the news, right? I don't remember the last time I turned on the TV and watched the news. I consume all my news through the internet and like through Twitter and you know, Google, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't for that stuff, I don't know like how much I'd hear about what was going on in Australia, because I don't even think they're really reporting about it that much on TV.
Yeah.
And maybe the reason they're not is because everyone's also focused on what's happening in Iran, right? And it's like, it is super crazy because you realize, seeing all these things unfold, that there's things that people at a higher level deal with that we don't even get to really touch, but somehow we're still affected, you know, and it can trickle into our daily lives.
I also feel like there's a time sensitivity feeling now.
Yeah.
In some sense, like the world is finite.
Yeah.
Right? Like things are finite. Decisions, whether regardless of what decisions we make, have repercussions and have consequences.
Yeah.
Right? And I feel like we've been so just frivolous, like for years, obviously decades and decades and decades, that, you know, the stuff that's happening now wasn't from last year, from 2 years. Like, it's a cumulative, like, team effort of the world doing things terribly.
Yeah.
That's causing a whole bunch of things to happen in a particular way. Like, and I feel like that is creating almost like a pressure and a time crunch of like, whatever you have to do it now, because you really don't know how bad things can get. Like economy crashes, like things, like we had, you know, the economy crash like years ago. We had stock markets, we had, you know, there's famines, there's like, so many things could and are about to happen in different places of the world. We're fortunate living in Canada that certain things don't affect us, but certain things might start to, that we're like, oh, this is happening in Canada. Things might actually start happening in Canada. Yeah. Right?
I saw this reporter the other day tweet. She basically said that she was really talking to people in the States, like younger people, our generation. And she said, if you're under 40 years old, you guys could literally have whatever you want. Like, do you want like free education? You could have that. Like, she said you could have everything, because our generation is basically moving into a time period where we're the largest like voting power,
right?
Because all the baby boomers pass away and all that type of stuff, right? And if you think about, okay, it's 2020, it's a new year, but I didn't have this hyper awareness about it being a new decade like I did when it was 2009 turning to 2010. And a lot of that has to do with how young I was back then, right? So back then I was 17 and 18. And I was like, cool, like I'm going to school. Like, I'm just about to go to school, that's it. Now I'm a grown man at this point. I got things to pay for. I got places to live. Like, you know, I'm in a relationship. Like,
now you're aware.
Yeah, like there's all these things that I'm aware of, and it's like, okay, it's 2020 now. By the end of this decade, I'll be 38. You know what I mean? Like, so it really puts things into perspective for me when I look at it that way, because I'm thinking, okay, now,
like, what are you about to do now?
Yeah, like now I'm moving into like another phase of my life where, even though I don't know for sure how everything's gonna play out, I know that there's parts of my brain that says, okay, you're about to be 38 by the end of this decade. You at least need to have this, and this done,
right?
And be in this position. So I think that's why there's so much tension, I feel, especially in my life around this new decade.
I also think that, like, it's a good point you made, like, because there's so many of us in this age group right now, we're all feeling the same pressures, like simultaneously. Like, okay, whether you're, you know, 27 or 32, you're still in this gap, right? So you still feel the same. Like I'm turning 30 this year, but I'm still gonna feel the same type of pressures as a 24-year-old right now, right? Or the same as a 33-year-old. Like it's the same range, right? So like, and there's so many of us. Like you can talk to someone else that's maybe 25, or talk to someone who's 33. and they're still complaining about jobs, the economy, this.
Yeah.
Like the same stuff. They're like, oh, I can't find this, can't find this. If you're in client work, you're like, oh, clients are like this. Like we all have the same complaints, the same struggles, the same technological advancements, the same like everything. We're all dealing with this like era together, right? The social media advance, like how to deal with all this at the same time. And there's so many of us doing it, right?
I want to bring this up to you actually because so you brought up like the social media advance and stuff like that. So I was talking to my boy from work, and basically we were talking about TikTok, right? Because Chazor, last time he was on, he spoke about it. And I think one of the things we talked about is like that TikTok is the first app. Like I'm on it, but it's the first app that I've experienced in my life so far where
you didn't feel like you fit in.
A part of me was like,
I know. It seems weird.
Yeah, a part of me was like, yo, I'm getting aged out by this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think it's because I was looking at it, the app itself, in a way where I was like, okay, I see what's popular on the app. So in order to be popular, I need to do these things.
Right.
But that's not my style, so it's like I don't. It's not that I don't get it.
No, I know.
I'm not an old head in the sense.
I know exactly.
You know what I mean? So,
I made an account last week too.
But this is the thing, though, right? Like I've seen people be successful on the app, doing things that you and I do on a regular. Like it'd be cool. Like for example, you know, you could blow up on TikTok if you did like, this is how I edit like this particular portrait style. Boom, 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 boom. Like super quick. Someone out there is gonna watch that, right? And it's gonna blow up. But that's so different to what you see. So you're like, like, if I join this, am I just being a phony? Like, you know what I mean?
You don't actually, okay, so I feel like, I guess our perspective of TikTok right now, it may change, it may not. We may never catch the wave and just be like, oh, that was just an app that we just didn't get.
Yeah.
But I feel like TikTok has been the first app as well in my social media era as well that I've acknowledged that I was thinking.
Yeah. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Like,
yeah, I get what you're saying.
Like I don't think for Instagram.
Yeah.
I don't think for Facebook. I don't think for Twitter. You do. You just do.
Yeah.
I'm on Twitter. I want to write something. I put it. I go Facebook. I want to meet friends. I put it. I go look. I post. I share whatever. Instagram. I want to post stuff. TikTok is like, I see what you guys like. I see what you guys are finding funny. I don't really find some of the stuff that you guys are doing funny. I don't really know if what I would like to do is something that would be liked. And it's even more difficult because I don't even do things to be liked, which is why it's so much more difficult for me to be part of it.
Yeah.
Because like TikTok right now is like do something that people like, get it viral, get your followers, grow, whatever, right? But I don't actually care if people like stuff. So I would really be making a TikTok to just do what I feel like doing, and it probably wouldn't do well because I would just do stuff I like, and I'd be like,
why am I wasting my time?
What is the
benefit?
What's the benefit?
Yeah. What's the benefit versus the time I'm putting in?
Like why? Right. So I made one because I was curious. I didn't want to just be naive and like ignorant and be like, oh, it's just for kids.
Yeah.
But when I literally used it and like, I just uploaded a video of me dancing for 2020, and I was like, it got like 500 views.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. But I still felt like this isn't me. Like not the video I made, but like just to continually be active with it. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Even Vine, I connected with Vine more than this.
Yes, because that was, once again, we were a bit younger when Vine was like popping.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that was something that was coming up with us.
Right.
TikTok, like the way I found out about TikTok was seeing videos of people's TikTok on Twitter. Like they're resharing their stuff. I mean, the same stuff for every app. They kind of just. But I would see it there, so I was like, oh, okay, whatever I watched, it was funny. Yeah. But I never bothered to go check out the app. At it. Then when I download the app, I'm like, yo, I'm lost. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Like, it took me a solid minute to really understand the app. And I was like, yo, like, this might not be for me. And like, that was the first time where I've had that feeling. Alienated. And I was like, yo, I'm so old. Like, this is crazy. It's nuts. Okay, leading to the next point. Over the break, there was like this little like mini controversy with Shiggy, right? I don't know if you heard about this. So basically Fabulous approached Shiggy
Yeah.
and basically asked Shiggy to like promote one of his tracks, right?
Like seriously?
Yeah, like seriously. He's
Okay.
like, so yo, and I think he wanted him to post something on Instagram about it. And Shiggy's just like, yeah, sure, but I'm gonna need to get paid for it though, right?
How did this conversation get exposed?
So the way it got exposed is Fab, Shiggy, Casanova, like all these people were at some like party, right? And so I don't know who was recording it.
Oh, so it literally got captured.
Yeah, but I don't know who was recording, but the person recording is talking to Fab, and Fab's like explaining the story. He's like, yeah, so I reached out to Shiggy, and I was like, yo, Shiggy, promote this song for me. And Shiggy's like, I
need a bag.
He's like, I'm gonna need a check for that.
I'm gonna need that back.
But like the way that and Casanova, they were all drinking. It seemed like they were kind of joking, but you know when mans are joking, but they're really not?
Yeah.
Like Casanova was going in on Shiggy. He said, the problem with you internet dudes is like, we let you guys come in our booth and like all this, so that he's trying to put down the internet people, right? My argument, like seeing this, was like I saw people on both sides. I saw people on Twitter, like all over the place saying that it's wild that Shiggy's like asking for money.
From Fab specifically?
Like asking money for Fab. And I'm like, okay, let's dial this back for a second.
Yeah.
Like, we now live in a time where I think like celebrity.
Anyone can be a celebrity.
And yes, anyone can be a celebrity, and it's so different to what it was like 20 years ago. So in order for you to become a celebrity like 20 years ago, before social media, you needed
skill.
Yeah, you need a skill, you need to be an actor, you need to be a musician, you need to be doing something, and then you needed basically whatever label or management you had
to co-sign it.
To just pump all this money into you getting big.
Yeah.
Now, to become like famous,
the barrier to entry is not.
The barrier to entry, exactly.
Yeah,
Barrier to entry is totally different. So for Shiggy, he was doing this thing for a long time. Then I think it's safe to say his real come up was when he did the In Your Feelings challenge, right? He was big before that, but that's
what spread him.
Because what happened is he made the In Your Feelings challenge without like Drake saying, do it for me.
Right. He just took a popular song.
He just took it upon himself and he did it.
No, I say he took a popular song.
Took a popular song and then he did it, right? But I think what happened, I think it was like kind of hush-hush, but Drake slid Shiggy some money for that, right? On the low, because he was just like, yo, like...
You're making my song money.
Because let's be real, like if I think about that album, I wasn't really like thinking about In My Feelings that way until Shiggy made the challenge and
made it everywhere.
So I think Fab understands this. Like,
oh, you think he wanted to make him try and work it like that?
Because here's the thing, Fab's not asking. Look, Fab's not asking a random an internet famous celebrity influencer to promote his track unless he sees something behind it, right?
So he knows Shiggy has power.
Exactly. Like, come on, like if Shiggy puts out a thing tomorrow on his IG, a new dance challenge to a popular song. Imagine Shiggy did some type of challenge to The Box by Roddy Ricch.
Right.
Like, that song's already blowing up, but it'll probably blow up even more if Shiggy did something to it. So Fab's like, okay, cool. Like, let me, Shiggy, do this for me.
Business move.
Business move. and if it's a business move,
pay him.
Pay him.
Yeah.
And Shiggy's like, yo, like, I gotta eat too. This is the thing. It's no different than when brands reach out to influencers and say, yo, promote this.
So what is the argument? The argument is saying that he's a legend, like kind of stuff like that?
The argument is that like he shouldn't have to pay him.
You have to respect Fab, is that what they're saying?
Yeah, they're like, you shouldn't have to pay these guys. And I'm like, yo, it was wild just seeing
the backlash.
It was interesting seeing two types of celebrity collide on something. Because now we're entering a phase where you have celebrity, let's just say someone like Denzel Washington, that's a celebrity, or Will Smith, celebrity. You see them, you know what's good. But then you have these internet famous celebrities who, in some ways, garner the same attention when they go out in public some places. And it's like...
So we're gonna name this episode Levels to Celebrity.
Okay, there we
First
go.
of all, because there are. Yeah. Like, it's almost like saying, like, you know what it reminds me of? It's like, have you ever had or heard like millionaires talk about other millionaires?
Yes.
And they're like, okay, so me as a thousandaire, right? I'm a thousandaire. Me as a thousandaire talk to someone who's a millionaire, right? And to me, I'm like, yo, that guy's a millionaire. Like, shoot. But to him, he's a millionaire that just broke a million, right?
Yeah.
He's just got in a million.
Yeah.
But then there's like 500 millionaire,
Yeah.
like a person that's $500 million.
Yeah.
That millionaire to that 500 million, like he's like, I know I'm a millionaire like you guys, but
that 500 millionaire is looking at him like he's a thousandaire.
like he's a thousandaire.
Yeah.
And then a 500 millionaire, there's a billionaire.
Yeah.
And he's like, what you have, I don't even count that.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So like, but they're all rich, right? Like the term rich, they all fall in the rich category.
Yeah.
But they're not the same.
Yeah, they're not the same.
Right? Like they're all celebrities, but it's like, you're not a Will Smith.
Yeah.
You know, like you're just not.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we've now just clumped them as like, once you get famous, oh, you're probably like Will. But like, if you see some of these videos of some of these guys, even some celebrities like a Will or like these guys, they have other people that they'll look up to, and they're like, I'm not even that.
Yeah.
Right. So I think it's the social media has it's removed the barriers of like, you know, the degree of separation.
Yeah.
So we can you can message Will Smith today. He might not read it, but you can.
Yeah. Like
right. Like I can text Will Smith. or DM Will Smith. Probably won't read it, but I can. You could never even conceptualize.
You can do that.
Touching these guys, like getting you have to go to management. Like now I can literally DM Will Smith, whether he's running or not.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Someone could be like, "Oh, I'm gonna give this guy a chance."
Right.
You
so
know,
I think with the Shiggy thing, he's almost like, okay, yeah, Fab, you're who you are, which sounds crazy, but you're done. Like Shiggy is not gonna be more successful than Fab or whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe he might, I don't know. But in terms of like the era, he's like, I'm actually bigger than you. Like,
because the problem is, you brought up earlier about the wide range of us, right? I'm know for a fact that Gen X, Gen Z, all of that whole demographic, they know Shiggy before they know Fab.
They do.
Right?
You can put Fab in the room and they might be like, I don't really, he's a rich guy with jewelry.
They're not 90s babies. So they weren't listening to Fab like we were, early 2000s. You know what I mean? Like if I see Fab, I know who Fab is.
Right.
If I see Shiggy, because we're in that, like,
we're in the middle.
Our generation is that weird generation where we were young enough to like experience like early sitcoms on TV and just old enough to see the internet like, come up.
Yeah.
But then you have this generation that are born in the year 2000
like in it,
who like all they know is the internet.
Yeah.
That's all they know. And when they'll listen to track, they might hear a track from Fab and they'll be like, oh, yo, they sampled that from somewhere. And it's like, no, that's Fab's track. Like, that's his track. Like,
they think he's sampling.
And I'm just like, oh my God, you know? So you're right. Like, there is levels to this celebrity thing. I just think it was very interesting actually seeing those two types of celebrity collide. Because it was weird. It was weird. Casanova is going off on Shiggy. And I'm just like, Cas, like, people don't know you the way they know Shiggy.
See, but they don't, that age group, like we're talking about, they don't respect that.
Yeah.
Right? They a lot of that age group is against social media. They don't have accounts. They're like, there's the old fashioned, like they're like the old Jamaican. Like
pretty much.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, they're like, who's this Shiggy guy? Like, well, actually, like, he's a pretty big guy.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know this guy. It's like, well, it's just because you don't know him, it doesn't mean he's not relevant.
Yeah.
And I think that conversation with Fab and Shiggy really put Fab in like a G check, where it's like, he's like, oh, yo, let me promote my song for me. And the man's like, yeah, I got you. You just gotta pay me for it.
Yeah.
He's like,
what? Yeah.
Like, I think he's really like, you think you're that famous?
Yeah.
But yes, no, I am.
do
you think I'm not that famous? Like, it's really like, do you not think I'm that famous?
Yeah.
Because if you think I'm gonna give you something for free, that will make you more money, that's not happening.
How many followers does Shiggy have?
Right now, he might be at 2.
Like, on Instagram, what do you think he has?
I think he's at 2 now.
What's the Shiggy Show, right?
Shiggy Show.
He's at 2.2 million.
Yeah, he's at 2.
What's Fabulous at?
He's probably in the thousands. Maybe, but
I can't when I search him on Instagram, I know it'll come up. Fabulous? Like, what is...
Is it My Fabulous Life, I think? Yeah.
I
believe so.
Dog, the fact that I can't even find him right off the bat, it tells you everything you need to know.
Is it not that? No, but you're right.
I swear, I can't. If he was that famous, all I would have to do is
he should be number one.
I should just have to type in Fabulous.
Yeah, I found it. My Fabulous Life. Oh shoot.
What's he at?
7.
That's 7?
But
Okay, all right,
the thing is though, it's not about that.
Yeah.
Because he's like you're forgetting, like not forgetting, but he's at 7 million.
Yeah.
But he has 7 million. What's the word? Vintage followers.
Yeah.
If like to say the least.
Vintage
Like
followers,
to say
yeah.
like Shiggy's at 2.2, but he has 2.2 current. Right?
Yeah.
Fab has a 7 because it's like, okay, when Instagram first came out,
Yeah.
all the celebrities made their Instagram.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
immediately,
Boom.
oh, there's this app. Who's my favorite celebrity?
Yeah.
Fabulous. He got all the old people that just made Instagram. He got
Yeah.
all the young people that in our age got Instagram.
Yeah.
He got his friends. He got whatever. And then as people grew up, started listening to his old stuff, he started getting people like, oh, this Fabulous guy. Oh, like, so he's getting like a slow wave of like growth from like old people who made Instagram, the new people who made Instagram, and then like us.
Yeah.
So his 7 million are fans, obviously, music. He's still making music. So he's still and the thing is, because he still makes music, he's still getting like new fans of like, oh, like, I kind of like this guy. Shiggy went from like 0 to 2
Like real quick.
And off of no catalog.
Yeah. But I also,
right? Like
to that point though, I think like his engagement though is probably way higher than Fab's.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So
like Fab might post right now, but he has 7 million, but no one's in it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
So yeah, very interesting.
Yeah.
Another thing I wanted to bring up, I got addicted to the show on Netflix the other day. It's called The Circle.
Okay.
Have you heard of it?
No.
Dog, I was watching it last night.
The Circle.
And
actually, I have heard.
I saw Marlon tweet about it, but I
have heard of it. I didn't watch it.
Tweeted last night. I was like, Ryan and Marlon would kill this show.
Yeah.
Do you know what it's about?
No.
Okay, so there's 7 people. They all live in an apartment building. They all have their own.
It's a new show.
They all comes out every Wednesday. They all have their own apartments, right? They never, ever, ever see each other face to face. Like they're locked in their apartments, and the way they all communicate with each other is through like a social media app called The Circle.
Okay.
And what happens is, you just talk to each other throughout the week. By the end of the week, everyone votes on who they think. They rank each other from 1 through 7.
And there's no visuals?
No, there's photos on the app. There's like videos, but you never actually see the other people in person.
In real life.
Right? In real life.
Right.
But you're all living in the same apartment building. And what happens is at the end of the week, you vote everyone like 1 through 7. Like, I like Ryan the most, he's number 1, blah, blah, blah.
And then trying to change it?
And then the top 2, they're the influencers, which means they're safe. Like, they can't get kicked out.
Just for the week?
Just for the week.
Okay.
Those 2 influencers, they get to decide who they're kicking out. Like,
out of the house?
Out of the apartment.
Okay.
They're gone. And then like someone else comes in.
Right.
But
or they replace?
Yeah. So far they've replaced who's been kicked out.
Okay.
Right? But here's what makes the show crazy. Because you never see each other in real life, you can be whoever you want to be.
Oh, like someone can like you, but you're not real.
You can
They
catfish.
like your character.
Someone can catfish. So what's happening is like you have people in the show who play themselves, like who they really are.
Yeah.
But then you have people who are just like,
front.
They're just like, yo, I'm gonna play this game. Like I'm gonna be slick. I'm gonna just catfish and win, right? And it's crazy seeing the way people interact because we've all been using social media for the last 15 years.
Yeah.
But when you put people in a situation where they're like, yo, you're gonna win a lot of money, all you have to do is make it to the end of the show. You basically just have to be likable. But at the same time, people sitting there like, they're like, man, all I have to do is be likable. The real me in my head's not that likable. So I didn't
even be somebody.
Yo,
interesting.
The show's wild. This guy comes. I don't want to ruin it in case you watch it, but there's this dude on the show, black guy, Antoine, right? He comes on first episode. He's like talking about himself. He's like 6'2" black guy, cool dude, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm not gonna be me though. I'm gonna be my girlfriend. Like his girlfriend is like this chick, good looking. So he's pretending to be his girlfriend.
Oh, you put up a girl image?
Yes, bro. It's not. He has a whole catalog, like everything of his girl, and he's pretending to be his girl.
That's wild.
And it's crazy because it's hilarious because when he's talking to people,
They think it's a girl.
They all think it's a girl, and he's just dying behind the TV. He's like, "Yo, I'm playing you.
That's pretty
I'm
cool.
playing you," and it's hilarious. And I'm watching this, and I'm like, "Yo, Ryan and Marlon would kill this show. Not even being catfishes, but like just being yourselves. Like I would pay good money. I would pay good money to see you guys like on this show. I'm so serious.
That's funny.
I'm so serious because they had a guy on there who was like a basketball player in Europe, but he played it all wrong. Like
he didn't know the game.
I'm just like, oh my God.
It's like he wasted it.
But the other funny thing too is seeing how like the psychology of people. Like it sounds like such a dumb show.
No, I think I'm interested in that.
The psychology of people, because there's a dude on the show named he must be like East Asian, like Indian dude named Shaboom, right? Okay. It's like a younger dude, 22, and people don't know yet whether or not he's like a catfish or real, because he's just like a young 22-year-old brown dude on this show, like super nerdy. Everyone loves this guy because he's not trying to cause problems for no one, but he keeps getting the #1 spot like every week. Yeah. Because people are like, yo, if I have this guy on my side, he's kind of nerdy and I'm trustworthy. Cool. He's trustworthy, but he keeps getting #1 and he has all this power. And it's like funny because he's like, yo, I have all this power that I don't know what to do with.
Nah, it's pretty cool.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Okay, I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna check it out. I'll get my little review.
Yeah, you're gonna watch it. It's funny.
That's dope.
What do you want to bring up?
Well, before you go any further, Zamora Johnson has a new job.
Oh, yeah.
Man said, oh.
Yeah.
Man said, oh.
Yes.
Man said a line like, oh, when I was at work. I was like, you just gonna slide over that when I was at work.
I don't know why we didn't talk about it at the beginning, but long story short, I went to Mac with McMaster, and when I was playing football there's a black guy I played with named Nico, right?
Okay. Do I know Nico?
Nico Jones. I don't know if you know him.
Not Mullins.
Not Mullins. Yeah. So Nico's from Halifax, right? And I guess after Mac, he went back to Halifax and he became a lawyer out there. And one of his homeboys, this guy named Dave. Dave was kind of smart. Like he decided to.
Is that the redhead guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
He decided to not leave Halifax. So he went to SMU and he's like, I'm just gonna stay here and create a production company because there's like
it's slower.
It's slower and like there's a need for it here.
Smart.
Right? So he made it. It kind of blew up, and then he kind of did what I think you and I would do in the sense that he's like, okay, cool, I want to expand now. I'm gonna come to Toronto and set it up. I have all these contacts. My mentor is helping me set it up. But the way he went about it was kind of funny. People knew that he was going to Toronto, but they didn't know that he was like coming here to live and like start up the company here. So the company's still running in Halifax. Our business is still out there. But then, you know, he met up with me over the break. And when I met up with him, I didn't think it was like anything serious. I knew it was like serious, but I didn't think it was to work for the company, right? Because right now it's me, him, and then we're bringing on like a few other people. But like I'm really like
part of the startup.
Yeah, I'm the startup of it, right? So it's cool. Like it's essentially what I've always been doing as a freelancer, still the videography and editing, but now I get to do a little bit more like creative directing. I get to, you know, conceptualize everything, but because we already have this foundation in place that's in Halifax, like it just gives us a little bit more clout when it comes to dealing with some companies. So right off the bat, like we got companies like eBay, Kijiji, like all these other brands that just need work done that we're able to do some work with. So it's been cool. Like it's my first week that I just started. I was a little
office.
Yeah, it's office.
Okay.
I was like, I was kind of nervous, like going into it, only because I wasn't nervous about the work. I wasn't nervous about having a job. What I was nervous about was not having, like, just going from freelance to back to a 9 to 5. Right?
Like back to structure in a sense.
Well, yeah.
Like
yes.
not that you're unstructured.
Yeah, because you know, like you know more than anyone, right? Like I had to have this same conversation with people. And I didn't even have to explain it to this guy because he knows. But it's like people would say, like now you're going back to like a structured life, and I'm like, no, my life was structured when I was freelance.
Yeah.
It's just I think what happens is you lose. Like I'm aware that I lose certain freedoms when I'm in this position.
There's rules.
Right? Yeah.
It's just
there's
rules. That's just what it is. Like it's not a bad thing. And the thing is, like, congrats. I'm proud of you for that, man. Like, because the goal of sound crazy. The goal of life, per se, is to find something and find the path that makes you happy. What that looks like, there is no guideline for that. So the freelancing, you know, moat, if you want to call it, which you had in between, to get to the land of a career right now, which you're doing. You may go back to freelancing after this, who knows? But regardless, it's like, you're still following a trajectory of happiness and what you're enjoying doing, right? So it's not there's nothing wrong with having 9 to 5. There's nothing wrong with having a job. There's nothing wrong with working for somebody. It's more just like, if what you're doing in those jobs is making you happy and bringing you happiness and bringing you money and whatever, then by all means,
you can go back on the podcast. Like you and I have both talked about it and said that, you know, I was never opposed to going back to a job. It just had to fit certain requirements for me to go there, right? Like, is the money good? Like, is it even, like, there was no way I was going back to doing a job that had nothing to do with what I'm currently doing right now.
That makes no sense.
That would be foolish. So I was like, okay, it's already doing what I'm doing now. What's the money like? And then money's good. So I'm like, okay, cool. Like, let me try it out. Like, what's the worst that can happen? I go back to freelancing,
if you feel like it.
And that's what I'm blessed with, is the fact that I was working corporate for like 5 years. Then I've been freelancing for just over 2.5. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, I know that I can do that. You know what I mean? Like, whereas there's some people who just all they did was work at 9 to 5, 9 to 5, 9 to 5. And I think it would be a lot scarier for them when they reach, in our case, let's just say past 30, and like, damn, now I got to freelance. It's like, this is totally unknown territory for me, and I'm already at this age, and there's a lot of things I got to do. It's like, you and I have done that, you know, we've been doing that. So the thought of, you know, this not working out or like it being not for me, it's like, that doesn't scare me. You know, I was like, let me just try it out, see what happens. And it's been great.
No, that's amazing. And I think like I personally, I think it'd be tough for me to go back to a 9 to 5 just because like I have a lot of ideas, and I think it's not a downfall, but like I think that is why it's a downfall for me to work for somebody. Yeah. Because I'm like, if I'm not getting these ideas out, I'm not gonna enjoy my job. Like, if I'm like, okay, I have a job and I'm hired, I'm doing whatever I'm doing, I know I have so many ideas, and the inability to get those ideas done will frustrate me. Yeah. Right? It's not about the work. It's about like, I have to dedicate a certain amount of time to this job, even if I'm doing what I want to be doing in that job. I'm like, there's so many ideas that I now don't have time to do. Yeah, I get that. And that will frustrate me. It's not necessarily the job itself, because like, you know, I have the KOA Pros, I'm starting to have the KOA 100 Club, I have all these different things, and I'm like, today I spent like 9 hours just like going through drafts and like applications. Like I couldn't do that. I just couldn't do certain things, and it would frustrate me over time, because I'm like, there's so many different tasks I want to do. But yeah, like I feel like, you know, as long as you're in a position where you feel like you're contributing and people are respecting you, and you're continuing to do what you're doing and you're proving your craft, like, why not? Like, you don't have the learning curve anymore of, like you're saying, what it's like to be freelancing. If they're not going to, but if they fire you one day, you're not gonna be like, oh my God, what did I do? Like, no, I've been doing this, okay, whatever. Yeah. Right? So I think it's just a bonus for you. I think it's gonna put you in a position where you can, you know, have a backing now to be like, I've done this for this company. Like, it's not just me as more by myself. I'm like, I work for this company and I also do these things, you know? Yeah, it'd be cool to see where things go. I'm going to Halifax like next week. To meet the people there? To meet the people there, and I heard it's cold as hell. So I'm not looking forward to that, but it'll be interesting to see. That's good, man. I've never been on the East Coast, so I'll check that out. There was something else I wanted to bring up. Oh, okay. I think this is about like relationships. We should talk about this because it's a relationship show. I don't think this is an issue that you and I face anymore because we're not as young. But remember the phase where it's just like you have to post your significant other on social media, right? So like for it to matter. For it to matter, right? So yesterday, or it might have been like 2 days ago, this person posts a photo, right, on their Instagram, and basically
the caption was, "This is going to be how I'm going to announce my man to the world," right? And it's a photo of like this guy in a bathtub, like it's a girl and man. Like
it's like a meme?
No. It's not a meme. It's like it's the real photo of this girl and guy in a bathtub together, right? The guy's at one end, she's at the other, and she's taking the photo, but she has her hand up covering his face, right? So she's saying, this other girl quoted it and said,
yeah, but the photo's not her though.
The photo's not her,
okay.
But she said, this is how I'm gonna announce my man to the world when I get a man.
Okay.
Right? So then this other girl retweeted it and said, your obsession, like people's obsession with hiding your significant other is lame, right? And then someone responded and said, y'all obsession with wanting everyone to display their personal lives for strangers is lame.
Of course, right.
And then she said, well, there's a difference between being private and this, right?
Right.
And I guess it was weird because I remember there was a time where it was like, okay, like if I don't post my significant other, like,
doesn't mean you don't like her.
It doesn't mean I don't like her. But I understood the argument. It's like, if you don't post me, like, does that even mean like we're in a relationship? It's like, okay, cool, whatever. Now I don't think about that stuff. But when I see stuff like this, part of me just thinks, like, why even bother posting in the first place?
If you're gonna hide them.
Yeah, if you're gonna hide them. Like, if I'm like, how weird would it be if, you know, every time your girl posted a photo of you, she put like an emoji over your face? You know what I mean?
Silly.
It's silly. So what's the purpose?
What is your purpose of posting? Like, is your purpose of posting to start a discussion?
Yeah.
Like, do you just like the drama, the attention of, oh, there's someone in this photo? Do you want that, like...
I want you to know that I have a man,
but not who he is.
But not know who he is. So obviously I'm gonna be like, but why? Like...
Why do you want me to know that you have a man? And if you're trying to shoo off guys or girls, whatever, then make a post about that. Put a post of yourself and be like, hey guys, I have a boyfriend.
It's weird.
Please stop blowing up my DMs.
Yeah. People are weird, man. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
Like I don't think I think at my age now, that's something that I know for a fact I wouldn't even tolerate. And I couldn't fathom hearing someone say to me now, why don't you ever post me on Instagram?
It's a silly conversation.
I couldn't imagine. What do you do? What are you doing if a girl you really like, you're vibing with, says that to you?
Well, to me personally, I don't care what I post. So like that conversation wouldn't really happen. Yeah. Because I probably post some event shit at some point. Yeah. And if I wasn't, then I didn't really like you. Like if I'm constantly like, I don't want to post you.
I don't want to post you?
I'm constantly thinking like, there is no way I'm putting you, like, there's a problem with you, right?
This is a you problem, not me.
Yeah, like I don't care, man. Like I've never really cared about that kind of stuff. I feel like, especially because I'm so open with everything else, I feel like even we had a discussion before, like about that before. It's like, if you're someone that's, like, you can post and not post whatever you want to do. Post your baby, post your husband, girlfriend, whatever. You can do what you want, really, at the end of the day. But I feel like the only time issues arise is like if you're already a very public or social person and you're purposely avoiding that part, then people are like, your partner or whoever, then they might question like, oh, like, are you hiding me? Is this like, like, if you're just a super low-key person, you don't post anything, then they can't be like, post me. You're like, I don't post anything. Why did I just throw you up there? Like, no, I don't. But if you're like, you're posting yourself at the movies, you're posting this, you're posting your shoes, you're posting all this, and then you want to trip with that person, let's say, and you post everything at that trip solo. Like,
but yo, I see girls do that all the time.
They do.
All the time.
Of course they do.
Girls will go on vacations, whatever vacations, what do you want to call it? And it's like, they never post a pic with the man. And I'm just like, I'm that guy, like, I feel for the guy. Like, I feel for him.
But you know for those situations, we can't even compare men and women in that situation because we aren't sexualized.
It's unfair,
No, but we're not sexualized.
I know,
right? So because we're not sexualized, those type of girls that you're talking about, the ones I know you're talking about, are girls that are being sexualized. And because of being sexualized, they have a brand to keep.
A brand.
They
Holy,
do. You know what I'm
brand.
talking about. They have a sex brand to keep.
Yeah.
If they're posting, you know, lingerie and booty photos and all this and their tits out and all that, and then they get a man, all that clout goes down.
Yeah.
So they have to have that, keep the, you know what it's like? It's like, remember back in the day, even still now, but when R&B artists, right, would get a girl.
Yeah.
And it was part of their brand. They're like, you can't let the world know you're taken now. Like, and the girl that you're with has to be like, if you're dating me, like, you have to understand, I need to appear single. Yeah. Like, it's not a you thing. We're great. We're having fun. All money I make goes to us. Like, can you trust that we are good?
Oh.
What?
Okay, you just reminded me of something real important.
Yeah.
And it relates about like the appearance. Like the Drake interview. Do you see that?
Oh yeah, I did.
Rap Radar?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's two things I'm gonna bring up. One, I think Drake kind of falls into that category.
Of?
Whereas like he has to have this appearance of being single.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Even though like he is single.
But we actually don't know that.
We don't know that.
He could be lying.
He could be lying.
Easily. He's talking about, like, if I find someone, like,
there are a couple
God
things.
knows we don't.
So
who knows if we found someone right now? We have no idea.
You know, like, I seen that video by Sean C where he's kind of breaking down the Drake interview, right? And there were two things that like really stuck out to me in the interview. One, I know like I do love Drake, like I'm a big fan of Drake, but I couldn't help but notice that this man was still like kind of salty about the Pusha T situation.
He's feeling it.
He's definitely feeling it. Yeah. I'm just like, okay.
He's acting like he's like that guy I want to talk about. Like
he's acting like he's acting like he didn't take an L from that situation. I'm like, okay, you definitely took an L, but you are gonna be on top forever. So whatever. And the other thing for me was, I thought it was very interesting when he said, you know, he's like, no one's talking about the fact that the biggest artist of the last decade was a black man.
Oh, the black. I took that part out of it too. For sure.
So when he said that,
I agreed though.
No. So here's the thing. I 1000% agree with him, right? Because it's crazy that hasn't been talked about. But also in the interview, he talks about how, you know, I applaud the interviewers because they asked him
very good questions.
They asked him like, you know, like about social issues and all this type of stuff. And
he doesn't speak up on it.
And he said, I don't speak up on them, rather like do things on them, but I don't speak up on them because like I'm not one of those celebrities that's gonna speak about it and not really do anything.
He's like, I'll go do something.
Which I rate, which I totally agree with. But here's the issue. When he said, you know, like identify as a black man, blah, blah, all this stuff, I'm not gonna front. Like I was a little taken back when he said that. Not because I don't look at him as a black man. I know that he is, even though he's like his mom's Jewish and all that stuff. I know that he is. It's just, that was the first time I think I ever heard Drake refer to himself like as a black man.
I agree.
Right? So when he then goes on to talk about how like he feels kind of like slighted.
And alienated.
I understand, like I'm not a mixed race person, but I can understand the feeling of what it's like to be mixed race and not know like where you fit in. But my issue is like, okay, you want people to acknowledge the fact that you're the biggest black artist of the decade. I get it. But at what point do you kind of have to take onus of people recognizing your blackness? Because if you don't, for example,
you don't even recognize it.
Yeah, like I it's weird. Like he recognized, he said it there.
No, but I'm saying you're not even outwardly recognizing it.
It was weird because I've never heard Drake once talk about like or say anything. I might be wrong, so I'll be honest. Like if I'm wrong,
you're just saying you haven't heard. It doesn't.
But I haven't heard him talk about like, you know, any of like the serious issues that were going on in the black community for the past like decade, like police brutality, all this stuff. Never once. So for me, I was like, okay, can you really blame people for like not like acknowledging you, like saying that about you?
Right.
Like we know you're the biggest artist, but to say he wants to be heard as the biggest black artist, we know you're black, but it's like I don't like hear you really.
So my thing with that was like, yes, I agree that what I agree with are the facts. The facts are when someone thinks of Drake, they don't think Drake is one of the best black artists of this decade.
Yeah.
They do not say Drake black artist. They don't do that naturally in the brain. Yeah. I agree with that statement.
Yeah.
Now, is Drake black? He's mixed, so by default, he's more black.
Yeah.
He's viewed as a black man in society.
Yeah.
Cool. Another fact. But the problem is, like, we're not saying that he needs to speak out on black issues to be black.
Yeah, of course.
That's not what we're saying. But the issue is, if you don't even voice or have any type of opinion, especially when you have such an influence over this decade, when you don't say certain things or even address certain things, or literally just kind of just act like it's not even happening publicly every time you have an opportunity to do so, and instead you just post about your music or post about foolishness and just memes and nonsense when the real things are going on, you just purposely avoid. Like, people are now looking to you to say something because you actually have more power than the average person today. Like, so it's not even just we need you to say something because if you actually say something, your voice actually gets heard. Like, it's not just like. But I also think, this may be a hot take or not, but Drake doesn't speak on these issues, very possibly, it's an opinion, because it's bad business. So Drake being mixed has the benefit of picking when he wants to be what he is. Right? I don't have the option. You have the option. We can't choose to be a certain thing in a certain room. Drake has that option. So him being neutral allows him to be outwardly liked by a massive majority of people with that, because once you choose a side, like, you've seen artists, like you've seen the Colin Kaepernick, and Colin Kaepernick is also mixed. Like, so he's in a way not fully black, but still making a stand that cost him to lose his job. Drake sees that. Everyone sees that. We know what happened. We know people blackballed. So Drake's not dumb. But it frustrated me for him to be like, I don't know, I'm not being respected as a black guy. But we also know you're making a business move to not do these things. So it's like, you can't have both ways.
And it's like I know, I agree.
Because if he makes a stand about being a black man, he loses the white business immediately. That's just what happens. It's not a negotiable thing. It's like, it is an issue, yes. You want to speak on it very openly. Oh, that's fine. We're just gonna go with this guy then. And he knows if he does that, it's gonna get out, it's gonna get misconstrued, but he's not willing to take that. He's just not willing to take that. That's what it is.
And it's like, it all comes down to optics, right? Like, how things look. So you and I are smart enough to understand like why certain things don't get said, but there's some people out there who look at it and like, oh, he doesn't say these things.
He doesn't care.
He doesn't care. And it's like, no, like, I know that the man
Of course he cares.
Of course the man cares. It's just a business move. And I think the flip side to that is looking at someone like Kevin Hart, right? Because I watched his document, that whole series. Personally, I left it liking Kevin Hart like way more than some people did. Some people were like, he did this for like publicity. I'm like, look, you can say whatever you want.
He did this to actually tell his story how he wanted to.
But for me, it was like, I already felt the way, like, when I watched the Kevin Hart documentary, I kept saying to myself, I'm like, yo, like, this really felt like a case of people really just trying to quiet like this successful like black man down. You know, like, that's the most Wntt I'll ever sound, but I really felt like that because I'm like, yo, this man, I know, like, it's not that he just didn't acknowledge like what he did was wild, right? Like what he said in those tweets. He made the changes, he did what he did. And what was really interesting and was like really important was his colleague, one of the executives, right, who was also part of that community.
The girl.
The girl. She said, look, like, you're one of the most famous people on the planet, but you gotta understand that there are people out there who still don't even know who Kevin Hart is, right? Which is like a wild thing to think about, but it's true. And
you can't just say things based on your resume, what I've done in the past. People aren't following all that.
Right? But what was so like frustrating to me was seeing it and just thinking like, man, this guy has actually apologized a million times and it's not enough.
Still not enough.
It's not enough. So then when he said, you know what, like, I've done what I did when he was on Michael Strahan. And he's like, I'm not talking about it like anymore.
I've done this.
He's like, I'm done. Like, I've already apologized. It's like, people got mad at him for that. And
he was frustrated.
I'm just like, yo, the man fully said, like, not only is he sorry, it's like, look, if I've said I'm sorry and you don't want to accept the apology, that's no longer on me.
Yeah.
Right? Like, what can I do? And I thought that was so real because I'm like, yo, how many times in like relationships, friendships, work interactions have you had where you say something and it's like it's what you truthfully felt in your heart and they didn't like it. It's not what they wanted to hear.
Right.
And you're like, well, that's not on me at this point.
Yeah.
Like that's
and you're indebted for life.
and I'm like, oh, like come on, it's crazy. You know?
Yeah.
So,
I think it's just interesting being those, like, we're not famous by any means, right? But it's like it's very hard to point fingers at celebrities because you're not them.
Yeah.
Right? So like it's so we can easily be like, oh, Drake, you should be talking. Oh, Kevin Hart, you shouldn't cheat on your wife. It's like we have no idea the ins and outs, the metrics, the optics, anything that goes into their daily life of any of these people. Yeah. Right? They don't owe us anything. They don't owe anybody anything. Yeah. It's just I only get frustrated when they do things for their best interest, but then complain about not being treated like regular people. Yeah. That's what, like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. That is where I'm like, you're not regular, so don't, like, why you take this victim role of like, why? I'm like anybody else. I'm like, why can't I just tweet what, like, you can't. You can. And like because you get the benefit from these things. This is why you can't. Yeah, and one thing I want to like latch on before we finish is, you know, the reason, if I'm critical of someone or something, it's genuinely because I care. Right? Like I'm not critical about things that don't hold space in my head, like things I don't care about. Right. So I'm critical about Drake the same way I'm critical about someone like Kanye or Kevin, like, because these are people that I actually have spent years of my life consuming their music. So I'm gonna be critical about things that they say, decisions they make, because I'm invested whether I like it or not. Right. So when we say these things about Drake or Kevin Hart or whoever it is, it's literally not because we don't like them. It's because I'm allowed to like have an opinion on something that I think might be, you know, a little off. And I think having these discussions like feeds into other areas of your life too, you know? Because I get it. Like I'm not mixed at all, but I fully understand like what it can be like to try and fit in both sides. Yeah. You know, I think any Black person has like code switched in their life, like a lot. You can't change your skin. Yeah. So you understand what that's like. Or a portion of it. Portion of it. Yeah. So it was just interesting to see. But once again, I loved the interview. It was cool because I never really heard him speak that candidly. This was the most in-depth interview you've had in terms of like all the questions you want answered. Yeah. Because he's just been quiet. Yeah. And just making music. It was good. But that was a good topic. I think it was a good way to enter 2020. I'm excited for this year, for our growth, the channel, for Zamora, for myself, for you guys following and watching. And hopefully you guys, you know, like we were saying, it's a new year, so you have your own resolutions you may have. Hopefully you can put those in place and get them rolling. Regardless, even if it's small, it doesn't have to be a big thing, just work on making a change in some area that was weak last year. And I think we'll all be all right. We'll all be good this year. Yeah. As for the people in Australia, I heard it rained. Was it 2 days ago? A couple days ago? Is it still burning? I'm assuming it's still going. Yeah, it's still going. Yeah. That's tough to watch. So, and for Donald Trump and the stuff he's doing, man, like it's scary. It's scary. I just hope, you know, it doesn't actually become a war, because it's very probable. The amount of memes I'm seeing happening, I'm like, you guys are making memes. It's not a joke. Yeah, it's real. Like, you guys are making joke memes and videos. I'm like, we're in an era where like everything's funny. Like that's how crazy it is. Like everything is funny. Nothing, like if this was 20, 30 years ago, this would not be funny. This would not be funny. The news would be going off like crazy. People would be like, yo, like, we'd all be panicking, because it's just like we'd have no control. There'd be no tweets, there'd be no nonsense. You just have to just know that like this thing might happen tomorrow. It might not. Now it's like we get minute by minute follow-ups of when things happen, when this got bombed, and we're just watching this crumble bit by bit, and then the President of the United States tweeting. Yeah, foolishness. Like, what? So I just hope that somehow settles where no one really has to go to war, because this will affect us. There's a lot of people think, oh, we're in Canada. Like, if you don't think Canada's gonna join that thing, you're out of your mind. Like, because we're just not. We're just gonna stay back and just watch. Like, it's not gonna happen. And once we join, we're just at fault, just like the States. And then, but not to scare you guys. Happy New Year. Until next week. Thank you guys for stopping by. I'm your host, MR.KOA, alongside
Top Boy.
And this is Wntt TV. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, people.
See you.
Peace.
Hello?
We need to talk.
We need to talk. We need to talk.
We need to talk. We need to talk.